Okay, I promised I would do a quick little video tutorial for Bloom. So I already have that video already about how to make shit glow, and now this is how to make it bloom. So glowing and bloom, glowing was referring to emissive materials, which is emitting light from a material, which kind of makes something glow. The actual kind of glowing effect where it has that haze around it or whatever, that is actually called bloom. So I'll show you how to do that. And in fact, I'll do both. I'll do both in the same little quick tutorial just for fun. Because I have a little scene, a fun little scene we can put together and have fun with it. So first of all, I've just created literally a small little box room with a bunch of cubes. And I've got a first-person camera in it. So what I'm actually going to do first of all is delete my light. And I'm also going to turn off, let's see, I need my lighting panel, window, lighting, settings, all right. I need my lighting panel and I'll dock it over here. I'm going to also turn off the skybox light. I want no skybox because I've created an interior space, an interior room. I don't need a skybox. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you what to do. First of all, to create the emissive, I need some light in here from some emissive things. So I'll create a cube and just snap it up in here and drag it over. All right, so we got a cube. Adjust my viewports a little bit. Aha, that's a little prettier. Okay, so got a cube here. Oh, my head's right in the way. I'll move it for when you guys need to see. All right, so anyways, I've got a cube here, and I'm going to create a material. So right click down here, create material. I'll call it glowy material. And then I will tweak the color. Let's make this a red glowy material. And then here for the emission, I'm going to turn on the checkbox for emission. And I'll also choose a red. And I will crank it up a bit with this value here. Let's put like 3. And I'm going to change real time to baked. You know, I don't have to do that, but I'm definitely going to do that if it's a WebGL that I'm creating. I'm going to drag this onto the cube. So that's going to be a emissive cube. That's going to actually output light. Okay, so in order to actually make it output light, though, I have to follow my lighting tutorial steps, which is, first of all, I need everything in my scene to be static. So I'm going to select literally everything in my scene and mark it as static. I'm also, I don't have any imported models, so I don't have to generate any light map UVs, so that's already sort of handled. I will check my lighting settings. I will turn this down a bit for now. The light map resolution, I'll turn it down to 10 for the moment, because I don't need it to be so great. Okay, so there we go. I've got a cube that is now emitting light, and this is literally the only light source in the scene now. This cube is my light. It's the only light that I have in the scene. And it is emitting some pretty nice light. It's a nice little area light. So that's cool. And the thing is, it's technically glowing in the sense that it's emitting light, but it doesn't look like very glowy, right? You know, you don't really see that little sort of haze around it for glowing. So to get that's where you need the bloom. And to get the bloom, you're going to need to go back to the asset store. So the asset store is where I made you go to get a first-person camera. That was what I used to get the standard assets, first-person cameras, etc., etc. You can see I still have the search there. So let me just do another search real quick for, in this case, it is post-processing. Post-processing, and you get this link right here, which again is from Unity. It's Unity Essentials, Unity from Unity. This is their actual thing. So what you want to do is you want to click download. You want to download their post-processing stack. And then when you do, you get this import dialog. You want to click import. And that's going to bring this post-processing stack functionality into Unity for you. So that is where you get the exciting, post tools to play with for post effects. So what we're going to do is go back to the scene window. And then what you're going to do now is go to Assets, Create, and then where is it? There it is, right here. Assets, Create, Post-Processing Profile, and it's going to drop that down here. And you could just leave it new, or if you're going to have different ones, you could have different ones, but let's get rid of the word new. So post-processing profile. Okay, so it's got a bunch of settings here in the inspector panel, which is cool. Lots of settings to play with, but none of these are going to do anything yet. None of these are going to do anything until we apply it somewhere. So the trick to applying it is you have to apply anything you do with post-processing. You have to apply it to a camera. So that's all we got to do. We got to go in here and select the camera. And notice that I've opened up the first-person controller. This is the controller settings, right? These are the player controller settings. This is the camera itself. It's parented to the controller. So select the camera itself, and you see down here it says Add Component. What you want to do is go to Effects, Post-Processing Behavior. Bam! That loads this new a new module here. And all you got to do now is drag this onto this, and now those are hooked up. So now this, whatever you set up here, the settings you have here, they'll apply to the camera through this little script node here. And that's it for that. Now all you got to do now is just turn it on. And to do that, you go in here, you select it, go to the inspector panel, and we've got things like, we've got a bunch of other things you can play with. You could set up ambient occlusion if you want, where you could actually have ambient occlusion right in the post-processing. So let's see, radius, let's see. You'd start fiddling with that. I think some of this might not be so great. Whoa. It might not work out very well just because the these are all Unity cubes. They're stretched and they have all kinds of issues. If you actually had good UV mapped models, then some of these would probably work better. But the bloom, ready for this? Ready? Bloom. All right. And let's turn up the intensity a bit. And a little bit more. There we go. Oh, actually, in this, I forgot. When you hit play, though, it goes even crazier. So hold on. Yeah, so that's where you get the glowing effect from. And let me just do smiles on play as well. So I just reinstalled Unity, so I'm still setting up a lot of the stuff I usually have set up already. But okay, so there we go. So again, this is where you get that bloom, that glow. I'm not sure how well it is rendering on the video. And who knows what YouTube compression will do to it. But basically, yeah, so with bloom, it looks way better. It actually looks like it's glowing versus if you don't have that on. So you see off, on, off, on. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Okay, anyways, so that's it. That's how you get bloom. And again, bloom is going to be great for anything that you need to actually glow, or even just like, if you have a light coming through a window, and it's a very strong light coming through the window, there should be a bit of bloom. I do think a lot of games tend to abuse it. A lot of games tend to throw tons of bloom into their, they kind of overdo it. It is kind of cool looking, but it can definitely be overdone. But it definitely helps though, because not having the bloom, if this object is emitting light, it just feels really kind of awkward if it doesn't have at least a little bit of that bloom in there. And of course, there's settings like the intensity and radius, and so you can crank these up and just really blast it, you know. So it just depends on kind of the look you're going for. You can really blast it. Anyways, cool. So hopefully that was informative for you guys. Definitely anyone that's doing some sort of science fiction-y type scene could really benefit from this. In general, it can be useful even if it's not a science fiction-y scene. Just depends on what you're, you know, the kind of look you're going for. But if you have anything that is emissive, in your scene, I would say that putting a little bit of bloom on it could help a lot. So please do check that out. It is optional. It's certainly not required, but it does add a lot. So that's it. All right, have fun. Happy blooming.